Welcome back everyone to the island of Elba, where we are building up Academia Nova. Last time we have focused on the hospital section over here, but I think now it is time that we will start expanding over to this particular area. I think this would be a perfect spot for some tourism, but we'll see how this is gonna go. First, we need to figure out how we're going to connect these two areas, or all of our areas. And I think this ravine over here is actually perfect to tunnel then through here and ultimately connect a street through that side of the mountain over into this area right here. Now, I don't want to stop there because I think it would be nice to have a connection from here to our industry area over this way. We might even consider in the long run placing some high density commercial as almost like an outlet center for our inhabitants to work with. But maybe we won't go through here, but over here. So we'll see that in a little bit, but ultimately it will help integrate this area a little bit more and give them one additional way out besides that one tunnel, and ultimately create sort of a triangle of connectivity for our entire village. Now, we don't just want to throw down some roads and call it a day. I think this area down here is actually perfect for some additional low density housing that will hopefully also help our pub up here to finally get the customers that it needs. All right. Bottom line, we are first gonna start placing that road through here because everything else will be kind of just based on that particular road. So we'll do that and then just take it from there. In order to start, that was a weird pause. I was debating on just putting in roads already. In order to start, we're just gonna flatten out this area a little bit, make sure we have our entrance in here that will provide the tunnel to get over this way. And then I'm gonna have a quick chat with you again. So let me do a little bit of landscaping and I will be right back. I am back. I have also decided to move the post office because I think this 4-lane road is a better pathway forward to actually bridge or connect this entire area to that new area that we're about to build. All right, as per usual, like I did last time for the other side to build this tunnel, I've created a bit of a plateau on top and then smoothed sort of this area in between, which I am hoping will allow me to very casually and nicely place a tunnel through that mountain. So I'm gonna start on this side. We are gonna just go through here. And ultimately we wanna, actually I can just put a straight line through there. So let's give that a try. I'm thinking it will automatically make a tunnel out of this. That looks promising. This side looks fine. Let's have a look at the other side. And that looks promising too. Yep, That looks good as well. Still think the tunnels are a little bit short or low, but ultimately it is what it is. So next thing, we're just going to make sure our road kind of connects through all of this. So first, I'm just gonna create a couple of pieces of road in here that we can afterwards connect. So I'll be right back. Alright, and with that we have, I wanna say, a decent road on this side of the hill over here. And now we're gonna do the exact same thing over this way. There's another building that has burnt down. So I think it is time for us also to upgrade our fire department, but we will do that not right now, because we're still busy with that. So like before, I'm gonna do a little bit of landscaping over here. And having another look at the height distribution and overall the length, I think moving it into this direction might make a little bit more sense. So that is exactly what we're gonna do, and ultimately feed it into this road, but we're also going to upgrade this road at the cost of destroying some of these industry buildings, which I think is fine. So based on that, you know, we should be okay. All right, I'll be right back. Alright, and with that we have created the connections that we just talked about. We can now go from this area, and there are actually people driving over here already. Let's take a ride. Because the only place where they can actually go is the industrial area right now. So while this will be a bit messy, going up over the mountain, and then we're coming back out, that is actually quite a nice drive. Right next to the water. Very pretty. A bit steep over here. But actually for a personal car, I think overall not too bad. Whoa, going up and down. And that is a relatively short tunnel, which I very much appreciate because it is relatively expensive to build tunnels. Alright. So we have made this connection, and later in the episode we're gonna add more zoning over here, but I want to focus first on this part of our community. So we're gonna create a bit more of the plateaus over here, just so we can actually put a few more housing options in there. Although it is a pretty busy street, it does make me also wonder if we should downgrade it, because that could make sense as well. Put a 2-lane road in here instead of a 4-lane road, but it kind of closes a nice circulation area for our city. So anyways, I think we're just gonna add a little bit of side roads in here. Maybe put some commercial where we can't fit any side roads a little bit further in away from the road. But let me see what I can do. So let's do a little bit of grading first, and then I'll be right back. Alright, with that we have created a few plateaus. They are all relatively small, but I think it is a good starting point. This one I think I tried to go down here, but instead we might just connect it through over here, start or end up down here, start up there, and then have a little side road going up this way. Interesting. There is quite a bit of traffic coming along this way, which makes me think this probably could or should be a roundabout. So they don't actually need to stop. At the moment it's a street light, and we kind of do need a street light, or like I said, a roundabout. So I think the post office will move again, and of course it's turning nighttime as I'm talking right now, which makes things a little bit more challenging. Why don't we go ahead and actually move the post office over this way? That gives us a bit more area here to work with. And then let's have a look at our roundabouts. Small roundabout should be enough. And then of course this is a little bit in the way. But what if instead of having our street kind of, now I do want it to connect into that big street over here. But what we could do actually is turn this into a asymmetric road. 5-lane asymmetric, here we go. Just that last part, so they have a dedicated lane to turn left on. We're also, for now, just going to remove these crossings, because they can honestly just walk over here. That shouldn't be too much of an issue. And maybe what we really should be doing is place a one-way road in here. Now, I've always struggled with connecting the side of my roads to what I really wanted to connect to. Oof, that looks horrible. Now, maybe that is actually okay. At the moment, it doesn't quite look like it because we have the crossing over here. I think these crossings just need to disappear from our pedestrian zone. So let's have a look. Yeah. No, we should actually deal with this right away. Let's see if we can't actually put a little pedestrian path underneath here. And hopefully no, it says it's in the water. I guess that kind of makes sense. I'm really hoping you guys cannot hear the cars. They are so loud. Slope too steep, which I guess makes sense. This says it is in the water though. I don't quite understand why. I guess that bridge is just not tall enough. Although it should be, in all honesty. What I think we can actually... This is facing the wrong way. I was like, how's this road connecting through there? Alright, let's fix some of the road over here. This should face this way, which means this looks much better now. I guess technically, yes, you can turn left here, but you shouldn't. So let's go ahead and say no left turn. Same in the other direction, no left turn and no right turn. And this is also the wrong type of road. Wow, I had really messed up this street over here. Alright, now the directions look like they're sorted out. The next thing that we're going to do is actually remove the street lights across the bridge. I don't think we need it. And I think we're also going to remove the pedestrian crossings over here. They can use this one. And while I would assume this entire area here would be a ginormous road crossing, over here it just causes a few more issues. Speaking of, I think we're also going to remove these crossings over here. They're a little bit too close to the others, and hopefully that will help the whole situation a little bit better. Alright. Anyways, this is something that we still really need to figure out, and I think we'll do that in the future. Now to the more important or more interesting part, we want to put down a little, residential area in this corner, but it would just be really nice for it to be daylight. Alright, I'm gonna give this a go and just edit it out later on. Quickly zooming back in, I just saw that notice. Yes, we still have a loan. It is definitely time to pay this back. So let's set this to 0. That should massively increase our income. And we actually didn't even spend that much. So awesome. And I'm still gonna wait until daylight. I also realized there's something else that we can actually do instead of just waiting around. Because when we look at the happiness of our people, the unreliable internet service is an issue. And we had talked about this in the past. So let's go into our developmental tree. We actually have already unlocked the telecom tower. And we have this little path right here, which should be exactly, I'm hoping, where our telecom tower, not the building, would actually go. Let's have a quick look again. This covers our industry area, our new area, and actually all of our old area. So this is actually really perfect. Let's turn on the contour lines, and it fits up here perfectly as well. So let's place it. With that, our citizens should be much happier. Or not. Maybe it takes a little while for them to realize they have internet now. Telecom tower maintenance, broadcast telecommunication, cell phones. Yep, there we go. Reliable internet service +4. High taxes are a little bit of an issue, but not too much. And with that, the sun is rising. And I think that means it's time for us to zone. All right, I will be right back after I've put in the initial zoning grid. That took quite a while, but I think we have our road layout kind of figured out over here. There are a couple more connections that I think I want to make. One is through here. Actually, we're not going to do that. It's a bit too steep. So that is basically the road layout. I had to fiddle around over this way a little bit and did switch this up into a roundabout, and I don't think we actually need those 3 lanes anymore, so I'm just gonna downgrade it to a regular 4-lane road, and we're gonna try the same over this way in the hope that this will do. Unfortunately, by moving, look at that, it actually did move a little bit. So let's go ahead and do this. Can't quite get rid of that little kink in there. Maybe I need to properly downgrade it and then upgrade it again. Turn off all the snapping. Here we go. That was my mistake. And just like that. It's kind of still there, but you know, close enough. Anyways, I had to remove the grill and we're gonna put it in somewhere else, but here it just didn't fit anymore. So let's have a look at our signature building. That's the grill that we had here before, but with this kink in there, it just won't quite work out. But we could actually, no, I kind of want to save that for a touristy area. The cafe could kind of work. Lounge, the Oasis kitchen. Whew, that's pretty tall. Can we... I don't think it would actually be suitable in here. The lounge. Actually, we could place this one here. And there is a little parking space over here, but they can actually still hit that. A little bit hipper, I guess, than the Fox Inn pub. But overall, I think not too bad. So let me just quickly fill in the area over here with our oak trees. Just so it seems like it all belongs. So our little foresty area is back in. And with that, we can actually start zoning in here. So I'm gonna do that, and you guys don't need to stick around to listen. We're also gonna ultimately, I think, start zoning along the road that goes up to the vineyard. Now that this has become a proper part of town, I think overall that will be okay. Still gonna keep with the Eastern European style. Or should we actually, let's try the EU low density housing instead. See how this pans out. And when we're zoning in this area up here, I make sure I leave a few gaps in there. Kind of deal with the height restrictions or height variations along this path. And hopefully it won't look too horrendous. All right, like I said, I'm gonna go through with this, and then I will see you guys in a little bit. Alright, I think that is enough for low density housing. Now we're gonna make sure we place a little bit of commercial in here. I'm thinking on this corner right here would be a good one, even though there is some commercial and obviously a ton of commercial up here. But over this way, for example, just a couple of corner shops, which I think would be quite the amenity for the citizens that are actually living here. Now we do have additional zoning along the larger street, and we're gonna go in here and just pick not the regular medium density housing, but the row housing, and try to not make it too deep. I think 3 and 4 is a good number for this, which also maybe we'll add a couple of 2s in there as well, just to fill in sort of this a little bit awkward gap that we have here. But I think overall it will look very nice this way. Could also put technically some other stuff in these empty spots, but I think we'll just focus on these row houses that are facing that larger street. kind of, you know, dealing a bit better with the traffic compared to our low density housing. Now, gonna go through, clean this up a little bit. And then, yeah, I'll be right back after that. Oh boy, and as I was placing this, I saw the shadow. Let's see where this one is going. I'm hoping not into this newly built area. I wonder why there are so many tornadoes in City Skylines 2. Who came up with that? Right, it actually seems to be going the other direction, so I do appreciate that. And I'm gonna keep zoning a little bit and actually adding some parks, because yeah, they should have some parks over here. All right, last step, a little bit of trees scattered across that area, and then we'll see what else is missing. Here we go, and overall I think that one looks pretty nice. Cool. We also have now created a kind of shortcut into our vineyard up here, so these people can relatively easily walk up this way. Our corner shops have come in. Okay, you selling vehicles, selling furniture, I guess. Fair enough. Not quite what I would have thought of as an appropriate corner shop over here, but you know, no judgment from my side. See if we can't add a few more trees over this way. Now this poor house is relatively close to that, but I think honestly, not too bad, not too bad. All right, so we've done some good work over here. What is this? Car burned down. Okay. We have connected our city area into this newer area and back into our industrial area. And this is, I think, what we will be focusing on in the next episode, where we are properly placing a tourist area over here. And besides that, we have created a really nice neighborhood. I think so, at least. So let's try to take a little city tour, and then I'll hope to see you next time. Bye bye.